Hey guys, welcome to Geometric Series. This one should go by fairly quickly. We're not going to experiment with a formula, and there is only one formula, and so I'm just going to, it's in the upper right corner of the notes here, but I'm just going to write it in there for you. So, of course, we're going to be adding these terms together, and obviously we have an R value instead of a D value. So, first term is 4. 12 divided by 4, that's how we get our ratio. And I'm not going to mess with you, so unless I'm asking if it's arithmetic or geometric. And it says the first 10 terms, so n is 10. So formula is the sum is there we go. So a little bit more in detail there, but so 4, 3 to the power of 10 minus 1. Showing more steps than I need, but take your time with these ones, because especially with this division line here, you got to take your time with your calculator. So 4, and this is me typing in 3 to the power of 10 minus 1 to get this rather large number here, divided by 2. Oh, I meant to put a 10 in there, sorry. 118,096. Fairly simple. And then there's the formula over there. Here's another one. So this time we have A is 5, R is a half, and we know there are 10 terms. Now this one's going to be a little bit more complicated because we're dealing with fractions here. And at this point I'll just say that if you want to go with decimals. Problem with that though is some of them will be very lengthy, and if they're well, you know what, I'm just going to say, if you end up getting a decimal, just make sure it equates to my fraction, because you'll see this is a little complicated with that one. But I don't know how well the calculators work. My calculator actually does okay with this, and can handle all those fractions and keep it in fraction form, but not all can. So I'll just say, just for the sake of where we are at this stage, you can get the answer, whether it's in decimal or fraction form, go for it. So, and this, as ugly as it looks, right? I mean, once we deal with a fraction divided by another fraction, right? We know how to divide fractions, so it won't be that complicated. So S of 10, and I like to write it out for students just to kind of remind them of, right? So this is this divided by this. So this isn't really necessary, but I want to do it anyway. So when we divide fractions, we rewrite the first fraction, change the division to multiplication, and write the reciprocal, right? And then we multiply numerators and multiply denominators. So what that means is that if we added up the first 10 terms, right, starting with 5 and multiplying by a half each time, that would be our sum. And then just a couple more here. Determine the sum here. Now this one we don't know how many terms, and we can't determine the sum unless we know how many terms there are. So we're going to have to go back to our original formula. So I'm going to go A equals R equals N equals T of N, right? So we know that our first term is 4. Our R value is negative 4. We need to know the number of terms, and our nth term, because we don't know this yet, is this large number here. So we have to go back to our original formula, and T of N is AR. So large number here. So this is what we did yesterday. Divide both sides by 4. Negative. I'm going to bring up a very common mistake here. So that means we can write this number with a base of negative 4. Insanely important that your base is in brackets. And we end up getting a 7. 7 equals n minus 1. So we know we have 8 terms. So put that 8 in there, and now we can use our formula. So the sum of 8 terms, very important. to put this in brackets, and I always stress that. Some students don't, and they end up giving me the right answer, but still you lose marks because that's not right. And then others will not put the brackets, give me an incorrect answer, and it doesn't work, and of course we get frustrated. So just pay attention with that. So 4 times and 2, 6, 2, large numbers here. And the sum of 8, those 8 terms will be that. Dang it. And then one more example here, which is actually the same type, it's just a little bit more complicated. So again, we need to figure that out. I'm doing one with fractions. I'm going to leave everything as a fraction. So A is 1 over 27, R is 3, and we don't know, and T of n is 729. So we'll go T of n equals AR to the n minus 1, 729. And I am going to move it over because I can see it's not working. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is where we're going to need to rate them with the same base. So let's get rid of this fraction first. We'll multiply both sides by that common denominator. 19,683. So it means we can write this with a base of 3. Play around with your calculator a little bit because the bases are the same. We have 10 terms, and then we'll go over here, and the sum of 10 terms minus 1. So far so good. This is again another one with those fractions. We just have to go back to our grade 9 skills. 59048 over 27 times a half. And final answer is this lovely number right here. All right. Problem solving tomorrow. Talk to you guys soon.